Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, a bit. So let me tell you something. 1 month ago, we were celebrating the International Women's Day, or Women's Rights Day. And that morning, I was browsing on LinkedIn, like often, and going through the, yearly carousel of posts with, nice intentions and commitments and, hearts with hands and everything. And, you're used to that, right? You know all this. I mean, it's like when it's Earth Day, you have CEOs hugging trees, etc., etc. I mean, we all know this. So I hesitated a bit that morning to join that cliche. And then I had a vision I had never had before. I had a thought, and I thought about my daughters, which I think you could see now. I hope you will see on this screen. Can we see them? Thanks. I like to see them. I have two. I have two twin girls living with me and my wife here in Prague for 3 years now. Young women in the making. They are 18 years old, last year of college. So I thought about them, and I thought that soon they would be leaving the nest, live their own student life away from us, start to find their space in the world, hopefully find a good job, and inevitably be confronted to all the issues that women have in the workplace: inequalities, lack of consideration, unequal recognition, and I got a bit depressed. So then I read the news. I saw, okay, today in Czech Republic, there is an average of 17.9% salary gap between men and women, and I was like, whoa, how is that happening? And I couldn't understand. I even went to ChatGPT, for your information, it's very popular these days. And I asked ChatGPT, why it happened. And I will not share the answer because it's blah, 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 So I guess they browse the internet for the corporate bullshit to explain all this. I will not publish it here. It's not very convincing, yeah? By the way, it's not only a Czech issue, as you saw. I mean, Slovakia the neighbors is more or less the same, and the average of Europe, 12.7%, not very glorious neither. In Danone, the company I've been working for 25 years now, it is zero across the countries of Central and Eastern Europe. So that's also why you understand my surprise. Globally, our company has pledged a few years ago in what we call the Danone Impact Journey to achieve a maximum of 3% salary gap across the world by 2025. And as a matter of fact, as of last year, it is now already below 2%. Bon. No. I think you shouldn't, but thanks. So I posted this picture of my daughters on Danone internal network, also on LinkedIn, because I wanted to share some hope that what we see happening in society everywhere is not a curse. Is not something that has to always exist. I wanted people to see that some companies in the world, like Danone, are striving every day to make everyone in the company thrive and blossom and grow in an equal manner. And I wanted mainly to tell everybody that instead of looking why it's happening, etc., to accept at some point that this is a leadership topic. That's my conviction. It's a leadership topic. So 2 weeks ago, I was in a meeting with all the top executives of Danone company. It was in Paris, and we were told these results, the 2% I mentioned. And there was a lady sitting next to me, some experience in the company, and she poked me and she said, why is this objective 3%? I mean, why not 0? Why are we at 2%? Why not 0? We could go tomorrow, no? And I'm sharing this just to show the level of demand that we have internally towards this topic. Yeah, and I wasn't able, honestly, to answer her because I thought, yes, if in my business unit we were at 2%, probably, I'm not sure I would know how to explain it. We would make some analysis with my HR colleagues here. But what would be certain is that I would, yes, immediately take the decisions to make it go to 0 the year after, because I don't see what kind of curse is there in this. I think it's all about leadership decisions. This story is just showing, I think, it's a good example of, it contains everything that we need, I think, to solve the problem. The first thing is what Lenka measured also previously, which is, shared previously, which is the measurement. It starts with the measurement. I mean, that's what she said got her started. It's the beginning of everything. One previous boss of mine told me, what you measure, you treasure. Yeah? And that's very true. So the first time you get the numbers and you put them on the table, you start acting. The second thing is about being accountable, meaning have a public commitment, really, from the leaders, and then walk the talk year after year. And the third one, and that walking the talk means taking actions, but especially also down to budgeting, planning, you know, because all this, then there are costs, there are facts behind them. The third thing is to never get satisfied as a leader until it's done. You know, it's very easy because there's rotations in leadership, etc. So it's easy to pass the baton and, you know. So being committed and make sure that this happens and not being satisfied, not being complacent about it. So it's all about designing the conditions from the leaders for it to happen. Anouk and Julia, my daughters, they will probably not work in Danone. Now I know it. One will study politics, the other one is into fashion. Sorry, I couldn't turn her into an engineer or, you know, it happens. She's very girly. But they will not work in Danone. So I thought that day, I mean, I hope I can inspire a bit with this post, because I have a few years now to make sure that they have 100% of chance to find a workplace where they will be able to be themselves, to develop to their maximum, become the best they can be. And this is why I did it. So it got some traction, it created some interest. I had a lot of very positive feedbacks internally, externally. Why? Because it's very interesting for everybody. And because everybody knows that leaders can make a difference. And especially male leaders. And here I feel a responsibility. Danone is a recognized pioneer in this matter. 15 years ago already, I was going to a very interesting program that we have, which is called EVE in our home in Evian, which we have built with some partners like L'Oreal, KPMG, you know, transport companies, very, very interesting, which in the beginning was aimed to increase the perception of women of the glass ceiling that they are putting on themselves, yeah, and work on developing, mentoring women so that they break this glass ceiling in the organization. And I was there because they wanted to have 10% of men, kind of quota, CQFD, so kind of quota to, because they knew that we need men to be involved in that and to understand the problems of women if we want to change the situation. Because simply, as a majority, men are in the decision-making positions today. So if you want something to happen, how can you understand the female issues better, make the bold decisions, if you don't have a significant presence in the boardrooms and in the management committees of the company? There's always a point where it blocks, yes? I was having this discussion with my daughters that we can fly men to the moon since 55 years now, but we have not been able to invent a pill to help them with the difficult menstruations and the pain that they create, you know? And this is a complete disaster, I think, in terms of thinking about progress in society, no? So I don't know, I'm not an expert in this field. I will not make a lecture about that. But I think that looking at the amount of women heading those prestigious institutions, the doctors' academies, the medical companies' C-suites, is already the beginning of a hint why it's not happening. That's my hypothesis. In Danone, in CE, we have reached this year the full parity in management committee. It took me 3 years from 20%, more or less, which was not very good in the start, but it took 3 years. It's more than 40% now in executive and senior leadership positions worldwide. So again, there's no curse in this. And the presence of women in the management room is not only a fantastic boost of empathy, inclusiveness, creativity, balanced and stronger decision-making, it's also a huge shot of optimism for every woman in the organization, because it's role modeling, because they see if it's happening, if you can make it happen, if you can stay yourself over there, up there, then I can make it too. That's as simple as that. And it's up to men to make it happen, so we need to take this responsibility. The most fantastic part I find and fascinating is that we know on top of that it's proven by many studies now that the companies who have more diversity in the management committees are 25% likely to be more profitable, and usually they are also outperforming their peers. So, you know, if we believe in data and in science, you know, there's no other way to go. So it's not only a topic of fairness, it's a topic of doing better business. So that's what I believe, and I'm not the only one, hopefully. We need to make it happen. We need to make this inclusion. We need to help women access to the top because it's in their interest, but it's also in the business interest. In Danone, so you understand, we are very committed to promoting equity, to create an inclusive environment where everyone can thrive. This commitment has been recognized also, as Philip Morris, through inclusion in this Bloomberg Gender Equality Index for the 5th year consecutive. In 2023, we are also part of Forbes 2023 World's Top Companies for Women. But I'm saying that not to brag about the company. I'm saying that because it doesn't happen by chance. It happens because we want it as leaders and because we walk the talk, simply. So, please, I just have a message for all of you. If you lead a company today, I think you just have to be smart and brave when it comes to action plan in this field. We heard several examples today. I hope I can bring one as well. If you're a male leader, you have to be even bolder, because all the eyes of the women in your company are on you to make that happen. It's your responsibility to drive diversity and equality. And if you don't lead, what all you can do tomorrow is really to challenge your leaders, as I heard before. I mean, voice it, be brave of challenging people, get the measurement done first, get the leaders to commit to some objectives, and take them accountable for it. Don't let it down, and don't let them talk to you about the reasons why it's not happening, why it's difficult, etc., etc. I think it's very easy for an organization at some point to decide that we close the gap 2% next year. It's a question of budget. So at the moment of budget planning, you know, it's very easy to gather the whole organization and to decide that if we need to sell more than the plan next year because we want to finance that, let's go for it. I think all the organization can understand that. Yeah. So challenge them. Yeah, it begins with us. All this change. Yeah. So each decision, each policy we implement, each conversation that we have is determining this. So let's build this better and more inclusive world together for Anouk, for Julia, and for all our daughters. Thank you very much.
And já navážu, děkujeme za otázku. And so, why do we still need a Women's Day?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Why do we still need a Women's Day?
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Mm-hmm. From Alena.
That's a very good question. I have no clue. I think that until things are solved, it's good. Yes, I mean to raise awareness. I think it's still good, but yeah, it doesn't go good when it becomes a cliché like all the others. So I think it should be the moment where we publish the measurement of our actions and when we show that we walk the talk on what we have committed the years before without finding some excuses. That's, I think, a good opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much. Frederic Guichard, generální ředitel pro střední a východní Evropu firmy Danone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.